Good afternoon again, and welcome to Ibom Connection and Akwa Ibom Calling Thursday's edition. I am Sebasi Valentine, and again, the program is Akwa Ibom Calling. It's Thursday. This is what we do every Thursday from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And I'm hoping that you'll be patient enough for what we have to serve you this afternoon because honestly, it promises to be very informing and very educating. This is Ibom Connection. This is where we meet minds and have conversations that eventually have solid impact in the lives of the people who listen. In the course of the program today, I'd like to open the phone line so we can hear from you. But at this time, I'd like to introduce to you our guests. Like I had said earlier on, we will be talking on the economy, self-development during the corona economy. So one virus traveled from very many miles away from here and hit the world, pushed everyone in the house, closed shops, closed businesses, and since then our lives has really not been the same. So how do you survive in a time like this? Join me and welcome Mr. Humble Mkpa on the program. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
I would do this from a distance. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so how do you feel about all of these things? This one virus, this super powerful, I hate to say infamous virus that hit us and pushed us into the houses, closed our shops, closed our businesses, changed our lifestyles. What has it done to you?
Well, what happens to everybody, yes. But what makes the difference here is how we as individuals respond to what is happening. You know, the way you respond to it gives it a different meaning and in point of fact, a different response or reaction, results that you're going to get.
Before we get to the reactions, before we get to how we're handling it, how do you feel about it as a person? How did you receive the information the first time?
It's when it happened the first time, I think most people we didn't quite take it seriously.
Yeah, you didn't think it's going to come close to us,
something
right?
that's gonna stop
Just
somewhere.
stay somewhere,
Yeah,
right?
it's just gonna be a news that will go away in a very short time.
Okay.
But it keeps growing. Before we knew it,
It landed in Nigeria.
It was doing too much damage, and it arrived here.
Oh,
and
yeah?
we were like, wow, this is really serious.
This is real.
Yeah,
and then it came close to us.
Exactly,
came to our own
too
territory.
Close, and before it came that close, I have a few friends outside these shores, and I got to realize the impact.
And people were already dying.
Italy, the UK, and I was like,
this is real.
This is more than what I thought.
Exactly.
And we're chatting with people, you're interacting with these people, you get to realize the enormousness of the danger that comes with it. When it came home, as a family person, the first thing is kids.
Yeah.
How do you manage it?
Yeah.
You can keep up with the rules you're talking about.
But the kids can't.
But with the kids, they're different.
Yeah.
They're gonna be touching metals, doorknobs,
Playing,
and if you're
hugging themselves when they go out.
It doesn't matter if you're using.
And they don't understand it when you tell them not to play.
Oh my God! Especially the 2-3-year-old. They're always very mobile.
Oh.
Always very mobile. So
how did you cope? How are you coping?
It's not easy, but the fact that it's not easy doesn't mean it can't be done.
True.
You just have to do your best. In point of fact, I became very proud of my kids, but I come to find out that we sat down, I put them through the rules, told them about everything, how it's happening, the danger, and to my surprise, when they're playing among themselves, they're talking about it.
Interesting.
And I'm like, wow, so this thing sank,
Oh, yeah, it
sank. So I got to be proud of the school fee I've been paying because it pays off.
Okay, good humor there. Good humor there.
Yeah,
now, before we get to talk about self-development in a corona economy, I want to understand what major lifestyle changes have you had as a person that's helping you to keep safe, to stay safe, and how's life different for you now?
For me, everything has changed. For me, everything. And like I have an attitude these days, I just soak up things. I take things as I see them come. Because if you don't have such attitude, you're going to be frustrated. Seriously. You need to practice serendipity, understanding that everything that comes your way, has some good in it. Because
everything that comes your way.
Everything.
Has some good in it.
In point of fact, the obstacle is the way.
Whoa.
So if I'll quickly just run into something.
Sure.
We are actually making inroad. The coronavirus thing is already, pushing us inroad into the fourth industrial revolution. Now, what do I mean by that?
Interesting.
There was agricultural age.
Oh yeah.
We used to talk about things we read in the Bible. Most of the example was about agriculture and stuff like that. And then came the industrial age. In the agricultural age, you have people who own cattle. The rich, the billionaires then own cattle, large
farms.
Farms, big farms. And they have millions of people working, thousands working in their farms.
And then your wealth depended on the size of the land and the size of farm you had. The size of farm.
So that, of course, the result in the produce was high.
Yeah.
Then came industrial economy, industrial revolution, where most of the things were mechanized.
True that.
People lost their jobs.
People are still losing their jobs.
People lost their jobs.
Yes.
There was pain. There was anguish. People who refused to learn how to operate the machines went back home and were starving and perhaps died.
True that.
Adaptability is key. Being able to evolve.
Okay.
Very important. So
Learn
what is happening right now is not new.
Oh well.
It's not new.
Coronavirus, we are told, is novel.
The virus may be new. Yes.
Okay.
The virus may be new, but the happening, the occurrence, we've gone through this before. The world has gone through this before. Now, as I move into age, you will understand.
Okay.
Then we evolved from the industrial age into the information age. Industrial age, people were, using machine. You have the caterpillars, you have the plows to till the land and stuff like that. People lost their mechanized farming. Now, when we evolve into the industrial information age, people also lost their jobs. Same thing repeated itself.
And what would think we would have learned?
We just need to understand that
life is dynamic.
I'm thinking about a better word.
Okay.
We need to understand that nothing stays the same. I listened to a sermon by Bishop Jakes. He says, "Don't die in your nest." What was he talking about? The eagle takes time to make the nest while he's preparing to lay eggs. After laying the eggs, the interior part of the nest is very, very cozy.
Oh yeah.
So that nothing punctures the nest.
The eggs.
The eggs rather.
Yes.
So after laying the eggs,
the architecture in that.
Exactly. So follow the story.
Yeah.
The eggs hatch. The eaglets now are born. The eaglets are enjoying the cozy interior of the nest, and the mom keeps
prepared by the mom.
And the mom keeps bringing food. But at some point in their life, the same eagle that built the nest and make it very cozy begins to push the protrusions that were on the outside to keep out the predators. Begin to push the protrusions to come inside, making the eaglets very uncomfortable. Now it's time to fly.
Oh wow.
Because the eagles were not created or born to stay in the nest. We were created to be evolved, to keep on evolving. We were created in the image and likeness of God. So in that image and likeness is something we call creativity. And that creativity manifests itself in productivity.
Okay.
Here we now comes to personal development, self-development.
Let's go there.
For you to be productive, you need to constantly develop yourself. Now, we usually will say, "Oh, I don't have time. I'm busy. I'm at work. I can't do this. I can't do that." Now we have all the time.
All the time.
What's the excuse now?
Okay.
So we have evolved into the information age where you have the ATM machine send bankers home. A lot was going on then. People lost their job. A whole lot of problems. Now we have moved from the information age into the conceptual age.
Conceptual age.
That's
where we are now.
That's where we are. We're making inroad into it. This is the corona economy. And
so
now
we've left the information age.
We have left the information
from agriculture
age.
A
lot of people are still struggling to make inroad into the information age, unfortunately.
My goodness, I feel like I'm late.
A lot of people are still struggling to make inroads
You're
into the
saying we've
information.
left the
We
information
have
age.
left the information age.
Okay, so let's talk about this conceptual
Okay.
age.
Now, let me make an example.
Hmm.
A few years ago, we have the likes of ExxonMobil,
Mm-hmm.
Shell, oil companies being the top companies that were making most profits.
They ruled the world, literally.
Now, if you go to Google
Hmm.
and find out the companies that are making the top five, they are all techie. They are all ideas driven. Facebook,
Concepts.
Google, there are a lot of them, all techie. You go down to first 10. If you are lucky, you have an oil company in the first 10. An app like Zoom, just within 3 months, have been the highest downloaded.
They've been the ones benefiting from this.
6 months from now, it wasn't the case.
And then comes the communication sector.
So a lot has changed. A lot has changed. So we need to know that it's never going to go back to normal.
This is actually a new normal.
It's a scary thing, but we must admit it. It's never going to go back to what we used to.
Let's try to paint a picture of the life we knew before now.
Okay.
Let's see. We woke up every day checking our phones for new information and moving to our jobs. For those in the schools, it was the classroom. Unfortunately, down here, we're still doing chalk and the blackboard.
That's it.
And then the others moved into the banks.
Yeah.
Then the others would go to build houses. Then those in the essentials, the medics.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty regular.
Exactly.
30 days later, they get their pay.
Yeah.
And then we had those, we didn't have, I don't know if we have those that come back at the end of the week with their pay or at the end of the day. We didn't even get to the part where we're paid hourly.
No.
Except for those on the internet.
Yeah. There are
those
people
trading on some coins.
Yeah. Most of the people in our local economy make daily pay, which is one of the major challenges to this lockdown.
Daily pay.
Thing. They make daily pay.
Those who sell on the streets.
Those who sell on the street and all. They are the majority.
Yes.
They are the majority.
That is why the lockdown was very tough on people.
Exactly. So all these things maybe the government didn't take note of.
Okay.
But now they're beginning to realize it.
There's a reawakening.
That this is what is happening now. That we have most of these people on daily pay. So when you say you're creating jobs, you need to think about that again.
Yeah, right.
Creating jobs for who?
For who?
What kind of jobs?
Yeah.
And again, we need to begin to capture this somewhere. We need to have it somewhere so we can say, okay, we've created 10,000 jobs. We've created 2,000 jobs. How do we measure that? Can we actually go to these people? Are these people real? Get my point?
Sure.
Until we get to that point where we are very transparent with the public and ourselves as a government, we might struggle because this has really, exposed a lot. Not just to individuals, but to institutions, structures, systems.
Sure.
And any serious-minded person who wants to win tomorrow has to sit down and pen these things
down.
Then begin to gather minds to say, okay, how do we evolve? Because to improve is to change, but to perfect is to change often. So you just have to be...
you need to say that again. To improve is to change. And
but
to be
perfect, you need to change often.
Often.
You understand?
In my mind, I'm asking how often.
Very often.
Daily,
if we are interested,
weekly.
You see, in life, when you are interested in a thing, you do what you can. But when you are committed to it, you give it what it takes.
You give it what it takes.
That's it.
The energy demands.
Whatever it takes. So you don't say, oh, if it gets this far, I back down.
Okay, so we're done with the life that we know.
Okay.
So let's try to paint a picture of the life that we're just getting into. This conceptual age you are talking about. Yeah. What is it like? What is it going to be like? Okay, you say it started already.
Yeah.
So what is that life like?
Now, okay, people need to understand that. Let me try to. You cited a few examples early on, so let me try, because I think example will explain some of these things better.
Exactly. And we have a lot of locals on watching. Yes.
Okay, so if, for example, you are a professor, because I think, was it last year or thereabout, I had a friend who went out, was sponsored, went out and had studied outside, came back as a lecturer. The university absorbed him as a lecturer, and he attempted delivering lecture on a PowerPoint. He almost got himself sacked. Now, for such profs or HOD or whatever who queried him for lecturing with a PowerPoint and made sure he doesn't repeat that guy has a set of skills that he doesn't, and if you're threatened, that's the mindset of most people at leadership, which is terrible. Now, so what am I saying? I don't know, and I don't care if you're a CEO, if you are whatever you think you are. If you really want to win now, you need people with ideas on your team, not people with certificates. Certificates may not really count now. It may open the door to let you in, but for you to stay on the game, you need to bring ideas. You need to be at your A game. And that is when you keep on developing yourself by the day. It's the only way you can lose. You develop yourself in skills, develop your talent. That's after you discover it. Discovering it is another game. It's another story to it. So after you discover it, you need to develop it by the day, because repetition is the mother of skill. If you really want to develop yourself, you must steadily and repeatedly do one thing again and again and again. It's the only way you get to master. The only way you get to mastery. You need to do it again and again. So, what am I saying? In the idea economy, in the corona economy, you need ideas to drive. Things are not going to be the same. And unfortunately, nobody can predict exactly what it will be. So how do you win in an unpredictable situation? You must be ready by training yourself with everything you can, weaponizing yourself with everything you can have.
So let's talk about the weapons now. The weapons for the corona economy.
Good. So let's pick one trade. Call it, because everybody lives life selling something.
Selling something.
Everybody
sells.
Everybody lives life selling
either
something.
A product or a service.
Whatever it is, you're selling something. It could be yourself. It could be ideas. It could be, because if you are the brand, you sell yourself.
True.
Exactly. So everybody lives life selling something. So you need to ask yourself, first of all, what am I selling? That's where it starts from. It starts from you. So after you discover something that you're selling, how do you want to sell it to? How do you want to sell it, and to whom?
Can you hold that thought? Please,
it's a lot. We have less time, so I'm trying to see how we can catch up.
So briefly, before we get back to that, what do you as a person sell?
Okay, I'm a personal development trainer.
Okay.
I'm a logistician. I have multi skills. That's why in an economy like this, I am.
Do you have products?
I manage events. I coordinate events, and I also coordinate services.
Okay.
I also coordinate projects. If, for instance, you have a project you're running, you're building a house, you have something you want done, or maybe you're not around, and you want somebody that administrates over that project.
That's you.
My company does that.
Okay, so let's go back to the weapons for the corona economy.
Okay, fine. So for you to be able to sell yourself,
yes,
I don't care if you're an introvert or extrovert, you need to learn how to do presentation.
You
need to present, you need how to tailor your ideas properly.
Tailor your ideas.
So that you can be able to get buy-ins. Because you don't just bump into people and bother them to sell. You need to learn how to communicate ideas. So your communication skill, you must improve on that.
Public speaking skills.
Public speaking is one of them.
Why did we not have that as part of the course content in primary or secondary schools, like it's done outside our country?
I like to stay with what I can handle. So, I don't like frustrating myself.
Okay,
I think with what is happening right now, we need to
rejig that curriculum.
I read something on the social media where one of the governors in the South state says that that we need to begin to look at our educational system again.
Isn't it too late already?
Well, it's better
Isn't
late.
that obvious?
It's better late than never.
Okay, so back to the weapons. I don't want you to leave that train of thought.
So I had mentioned skills with presentation. I've talked about communication.
Being able to tell all your ideas. And you're saying you cannot just show up on people.
You get my point.
Yes.
You need to just show your people on people and begin to just bother people.
Yep.
That's what a lot of people do. They just, people put you on groups on WhatsApp groups and they begin to bother you.
Tell me about it.
Bombard your phone with messages. And sometimes you're sitting down to study for 2-3 hours, pick up your phone and you see 500 messages. Heck.
There's no time to even go through all
even when you have the time. I mean, you were not properly
you don't even know what this is about.
What it's about. So somebody needs to learn how to market.
That's another skill.
That's another skill. You need to market. How do you market? You don't just, marketing is not just you jump on people. No. And you see the beautiful part of this thing. You don't need to learn all the skills. One of the very important things we need to learn now is collaboration, working with people. You need people to win. So you don't need to learn everything on your own. You need to work with people. Learn how to work with people. So I don't care if you are Mkpa or Mkpa. It's time to learn to work with people. Okay. You need to team effort, Team effort. You need to people need to realize that, hey, I don't know how to do A, but I'm very good at B.
So you need to find
and
someone
for me
who
to sell A properly, or to sell B properly, I need A. I can't sit down to do it. Can I work with someone who works at the level of excellence that I would want to partner with?
And working with other people, collaborating, demands another set of skills. Interpersonal skills is part of this?
Look, it's a whole bunch.
Wow.
Collaborative skills, problem-solving skills, technical skills, another key factor.
Technical skills.
We are in the conceptual age. Now, if there are apps that can make what you sell very easy. Okay, let me come home. This is a personal discovery.
Okay.
During this period, I found out that I had some money in my hand, and in a short time,
it was all gone.
And I'm like, where did it go? Happened the first week, the second week, because I'm very good at tracking patterns. So when it happens the second time,
tracking patterns.
I like
something you also need this period.
I'm very natural about that, so it comes to me easily because it's a talent for me. So
and that's something to develop.
That's something to develop.
You need to know how much you had in your hand.
You need to know how much
and where all of this money is went to.
And guess what? There are apps that can help you do that.
There are apps that can help you do that? Okay,
you don't need to track what you buy. That's very easy. The apps just do the job.
Okay.
Shows you the graph and all of that. There are many of them. And depending on what you want.
Okay.
I've mentioned what it is. So people, okay. I tell people, after God is Google.
Okay.
After God.
Let's go to Google and get this.
So you finish your praying and all of that. You're asking.
Yeah, right.
Go to work, research.
Okay.
So you have a phone. Okay, if it's iPhone, Apple or Android,
it has access to the internet.
It has access to the internet. Learn to do research. That's another skill.
Oh, wow.
Research. Learn to make research before you go into anything. Yeah. Research. Do your homework. Do some comparative analysis, check things out. Okay. Which one works best? And all these things evolve around you. You need to know, what time do you function most? Do you work best in the morning, the afternoon?
That's something.
Do you work best under pressure? Because there are people that are at their best when they're under pressure. You need to understand how you function, what makes you tick. Because you need to build every other thing you want to do, your productivity, strength,
around your most productive
hours, because that is when you are at your A game.
At optimal. Okay.
So you need to make that
Or still on
happen.
these weapons for
I
the current
I mean,
economy.
we can talk about it all day.
You
It's a
mentioned
lot.
the take.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's continue.
So, like I was saying, you need to first of all know how you function. For me, back then in school, when we were in the university, discovered that I had friends who could read in the market square.
Without the
I
noise doesn't
mean,
bother
the
them.
noise doesn't bother them, and I keep wondering how did they do it. I try to develop that skill. It frustrates me,
Mm.
and I found
You need a
it's
perfect
not
calm.
just for me. I need the perfect calm because my mind doesn't work like theirs.
Okay.
I have the kind of mind that picks every little bit.
Everything.
It picks. I'm trying to focus. A sound comes from somewhere. Even smell, I pick it,
Okay.
and my attention goes there. So, for me to be effective, night.
Okay.
It's either in the night or I find a very quiet place
Mm.
where I can focus. That's why I don't move without my earplugs. So
Okay.
I'm in a taxi, I'm traveling, I'm driving in my car, I have audiobooks.
Hmm.
I have audiobooks in my car. I replace the music on my phone with audiobooks. I am always,
Are you listening?
always, always taking things in.
Okay.
Always. There was a time in New York. I've been in New York for quite a long time. I've been in New York since 1992.
Okay.
So there was a time in this town where I'll have to trek. Then my parents were staying somewhere off in Mkpa Street.
Okay.
I would trek all the way from Mkpa to is it Udotungobo also for the
Udotungobo.
State Library, right?
Okay, yes, so that's over there.
Yeah, I would trek all the way
Kemba.
all the way to
A back road.
yes,
That's
all
not
the
too
way.
far.
Yeah, you can say that,
Like,
but it
I
was
get
far
it.
from me.
I get it. I get it.
So
Yeah.
come all the way there to read and
Yeah.
go back home. Nowadays, you do that with your phone,
Sitting in your couch.
the comfort of your home.
Okay.
So what complaint? I mean, people should just stop complaining. Just stop the
They'll say they
complaining.
don't have data, they don't have phones that have access to the internet.
Trust me, those same people will use the data to do something very funny. You'll be surprised. And there are apps too that can study your screen time on your phone. How much time you spend on what?
Okay.
There are apps on that phone you are carrying that can help you study you, that can reveal things about you that you don't know.
We
Just
should
go to
back.
Google. There are a lot of them. I don't want to mention the apps. Just go there, play around with it. You'll see a lot of apps. Download them, try them
I
out.
think it's safe to mention one.
I try to avoid that.
Okay.
I try to
But
avoid
we should
that
look for apps that can help you study yourself.
because if people come to me, I know how to guide them.
Okay.
For instance, if you're on my team,
How can we reach you, for instance?
on
Facebook? It's fine.
on Facebook, Humble Mkpa on
Okay.
Facebook.
Humble Mkpa on Facebook.
On my YouTube, my page on Facebook is Life Class University. The university is not the regular UNI, it's YOUNI University. Okay, Life Class
University.
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
The
creativity.
the idea is simple. What I talk about is most about life and business skills.
Okay.
Life and business skills. Usually that's my core.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about discovering what would work for you at this period, because questions like what are you doing at this period to make money keeps coming, and it's becoming tougher to understand.
Yeah, and the mistake most people make is think money first.
You should think service first.
I think I will advise you think solution first.
Okay.
Because when you know a particular problem that people are having and you can bring solution to that problem,
okay,
you're there. You're home already. Start with what bothers you. Make a list of what bothers you in the environment, where you stay, in the world. What bothers you? Just make a list. One or two of those ideas will jump at you.
We'll go for a quick break, and then when we return from this break, we will continue on that path of what we can do at this period. What services really we can give to our people that can fetch us the returns that everyone is looking forward to. The money return is important,
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Director, please give us some musical break, And when we return, we'll take these conversations to the limit, and we'll bring up the phone so we can talk to our viewers at home. Let me find out what we have back there.
Oh, come on, you make sure you share this.
Sure, definitely.
Man, you push me to say things.
You know, you need to.
My
You
phone.
did?
Okay.